Hope you had a wonderful weekend. All right. Yeah. Sweet. So it's great to be back. Welcome, welcome. Hope you all are here and had a wonderful weekend. Yeah, all right. So I wanted to start with the Text for Joy meditation again. You can find that on Facebook, Text for Joy, and they send out a daily meditation. And so I want to start with that. This is a daily meditation. It says, "Good morning. Loving yourself is key to living the life you desire. When something happens in your life that is less than desirable, it is showing you an aspect of you that you don't like yet. Forgive yourself, learn the lesson from the experience, be grateful for it, and love yourself. You are worth it. Meditate today on the word satisfied, the color pink, and an image of stargazing. Love, Chris Shipley, Quantum Living Coach." So awesome. Yes. Again, if you're not part of Text for Joy, I would recommend you go sign up for that. And it's just, go to Facebook, text TEXT, text number 4 joy, JOY. It's all one word, and then that way, you can go ahead and just hit the like button and Facebook feed, I guess, if you will, or you're populating with the text. And so awesome. I also wanted to maybe talk about a few words. I know when I was talking to one of the followers about Family Matrix, I was mentioning that people do proxy work, and he said, "Oh, I know what proxy is," but I thought, I know what it is. I know at least my idea of the meaning, but I don't necessarily know if I have an exact meaning. And I just went with dictionary.com, something simple, for my source. That way you can look it up too. You can find out, if that, I guess, fits, or if it's your understanding of the definition as well. We'll just go with, I only picked out 3 major words. I've actually got some other keywords I tried to go over in the last bit. So first was proxy. I was talking about in a family matrix, people will proxy for, say, your mom or dad was the example, or, proxy even for myself, and then I step out and watch, I guess. But it says agent functioning, the agency, function, power of a person authorized to act as the deputy or substitute of another. In substitute, okay? That's one. I'm going to go through all the definitions. The second one is a person so authorized, substitute or agent. So a person authorized to substitute for another person. A written authorization empowering another person to vote or act for the signer, as at a meeting of stockholders. Okay, so you've heard proxy my vote, or at least I have. This person's going to proxy that person's vote, and that's kind of what they're talking about. And then again, it's the same thing. You're in substitution of that person because they can't be there, so you're a stand-in, if you will. If that, hopefully, that really, I guess, simplifies it. An ally or confederate who can be relied upon to speak or act on one's behalf. Again, it's somebody who's substituting or standing in to speak on somebody else's behalf. Or, again, if it was, say, a share or stockholders meeting, in a sense, I could say this person has my proxy or my vote, and so that person is substituting for me at the meeting, maybe. But that's proxy. So again, for the most part, it's somebody who's going to stand in substitution of the actual person. So again, if I was doing a family matrix and I had to pick a proxy for, say, my dad, I'm picking somebody to stand in the stead of my dad, not in substitution of him, in a sense. And so again, from what I've seen, he briefly takes on that energy, or the person proxying does. Again, it doesn't necessarily have to be male to male. Like when I did one, I had a lady that proxied for me. It was still really awesome because there was so many coincidences or similarities between us that I don't think I could have picked a better person. Okay, so that's proxying. That's, and even in B.E.S.T, I've heard of a doctor or a B.E.S.T practitioner doing proxy work, where his patients would call him up and say, I don't have time to get in today. I believe he was in California, so he had a greater distance. People would drive for an hour or so, just, I don't know, traffic or anyway. His clients were further away, and so some of them could always make it there. And so they would call him up and say, I need a session. Can you do a proxy? Or, can you remote on me? He'd say, sure. And from what I understand, he had basically like a Barbie, a small little kid's doll that he'd keep in his desk, and he'd pull it out and put it on the table. And he would go through the B.E.S.T treatment just as that person was laying there, but he would do it on a doll. And that would, it would still get to them and still work. Because again, that doll's just in substitute of the person there. So you're not, necessarily doing it on the doll, and the energy's not going to that. It's going to the person who the doll's substituting for, or in proxy of, if you will. Which actually gets me into my next word, remote. So if you were to get a remote treatment, a remote B.E.S.T, or a remote, I don't know if it's possible, I'm still learning, but like Reiki or something like that. And this is something that still, I guess maybe I struggle with, because I keep thinking, hands-on has got to be more powerful. But it's not always the case. Sometimes these remotes are a lot more powerful than the hands-on. How, why, I don't know. I'm still learning that. But it definitely seems like some of these remote sessions are just as powerful, if not more powerful. Maybe that's, I don't know. That's something that I would like to, I guess, play with more. I think part of that's just your belief system. Again, like I said, I keep thinking, hands-on remote, or not hands-on remote. There you go, oxymoron. I guess I need my tea for the day, my shake. No, your hands-on to me seems like more powerful, but that's not always the case. Remotes can be just as powerful, if not more powerful. Again, that's something I'm kind of playing with or looking at. Anyway, so a remote. What is a remote treatment? If I called up and said, hey, I need a remote B.E.S.T, what would that mean? Well, remote, far apart, distance and space, out of the way, distance and time, operating or controlling from a distance as by remote control, far off, abstract, removed, not direct, or in the proxy of the individual or influence. And so, it's like this one. I like remote control. You think of like on the TV, or at least I do. You're across the room. I don't want to get up and change the channel. I want to do it with the remote. So that's kind of what they're doing with the remote B.E.S.T. is it's and again, I'm imagining you could do remote or proxy work with lots of other things. I believe I've also heard them talk about proxy work through Rapid Eye, where you can proxy for other people and get a Rapid Eye. I personally believe in it. Again, I think that there's something to it, and it's very strong. Don't take my word for it. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a master practitioner, professional. I'm still learning, if you will, working my way up to master practitioner, not just in B.E.S.T, but hopefully Rapid Eye, Reiki, some of these other awesome modalities. But yeah, that's just me personally. So remote, again, it's from a distance. It's distance and time. That's number two. Sorry, these are, again, I'm just reading from dictionary.com, just the definitions. And so the definition is out of the way, secluded. That's more like a campground. My campground's out of the way and secluded. It's a remote area to get to. This is just saying that I'm not in the same room as that person, and I can still work on them. We've got the three words. What is a proxy? What is a remote? And then the third one was going to be alignment. What is alignment? Okay, well, it's an adjustment to align, arrangement in a straight line. The line or lines so formed. The proper adjustment of components of the electric circuit, machine, etc. for coordinating function. That's probably the definition that closest to what suits us, what we're talking about. We're aligning somebody like we would align circuit board. If you think of your body like that, again, like a computer type of circuit board, it with stagnated, say, interference, you spill something on the circuit board, it doesn't allow that current to flow properly, and so where you want to go in and remove the interference, and so the body can align to its greatest, highest good. It can function properly. Fourth one, a state of agreement or cooperation among persons, groups, nations, etc., with a common cause or viewpoint. Okay, I would that kind of works too. Not necessarily a group, but we are trying to align to this common viewpoint of a greater health. A ground plan of a railroad or highway, line or arrangement, parallel, converting line, it's lines all headed towards the same direction. I kind of like that even, but I think the third one, proper adjustment of components of the electric circuit, machine, etc., for coordinating function. When we talk about a line, that's what I'm thinking of, is we are trying to align your energy so that it all flows properly. Again, if you were a circuit board, that it's all there and flowing. That's how I see this, and again, how I understand it and interpret it. I have had training. I've gone to quite a few. I had to go to LA, Seattle, Chicago, Phoenix, Arizona. I've had to go to a couple different cities and train with this and work with other practitioners who are training, as well as people I would say are at master diplomate level, which I guess journeyman. Anyway, you have beginner, middle, and top. Top being expert, diplomates middle. I would say I'm still, I guess, beginner as far as best work. But anyway, this stuff is fascinating to me. I hope it at least gets some wheels turning, gets some stuff going. I was also talking to a friend. I was talking to a friend over the weekend, and we were just talking about this kind of stuff, and he's asking me about it, and I told him, I was like, to some extent, let's try it out, find out, for yourself. And they were like, I don't know. You can just tell me about it. I don't really want, to do one. And I was like, okay, that's fine. And even in the book Power versus Force, they talk about the reason why they're going to explain the same thing over and over is because there's two types of people. There's one who they hear something and they believe it, and the other, they hear it and they don't believe it until it's proven. So if I said that right, one person believes it until they're proven wrong. The other group won't believe it until it's proven right. I can tell I fit more into the I believe it until it's proven wrong. That's just personally me. That's how I see it. There are definitely quite a few people out there who see it the other way. In fact, I went into one chat room and they were talking about the Wim Hof technique. He's got a breathing technique and talks about you can take control back, if I remember right, of like your autonomic nervous system as well as your immune system. So he's saying, with his teaching and his breathing exercise, you can help tap into this and help strengthen it, if I remember right. And this one person kept saying, oh, I'm so triggered by a lot of these stuff that he's saying. And I thought, okay, I felt bad that they were being triggered, that they weren't, and again, it's just how I understood it, enjoying the conversation. I don't think anybody was saying anything offensive. Nobody was saying, religion was wrong, or, they were just saying, this is what they have found through the study of his technique and what they believe it's doing and helping the body in it, if you will. And I thought, okay, this is awesome. This is, from what I understand, is right on. They're even talking about how you'd be able to pull yourself out of sympathetic fight or flight nervous system back into rest and relax. And I thought, okay, well, that's kind of what B.E.S.T does. So I believe from what I've read, you do control your breath. And so through certain breathing techniques, is it possible? Yeah, probably. I don't see why not. Again, I'm still learning myself. I still think this stuff's fascinating and kind of trying to figure it out, if you will. And but they just kept saying, oh, I'm so triggered by this. And I thought, what could I do to help them, or what could they even do to help themselves? And I thought part of that would be to do your own self work. I know for myself, when certain things trigger me, it's just a flag, a red flag, if you will, or I don't know, maybe it's green. No, anyway, it's just a little indicator to say, oh, hey, there's something wrong. There's something here that doesn't sit well with me. I need to go sit with it. I need to, work on that. which I'm going to go back to the Text for Joy daily meditation. Loving yourself is key in living the life you desire. When something happens in your life that is less than desirable, it is showing you an aspect of you that you don't like yet. And that's how I took, this person being triggered, is that there was a discomfort, if you will, that kept coming up to them, or, if they were, I don't know if this is proper, but like sitting on pins and needles, because, they weren't comfortable. I don't know if that was their own skin or how that was. Again, I personally couldn't talk, is my understanding of what was going on. I don't know. So my personal self, again, when I find myself triggered, I will maybe go into the mortar march. We'll even sometimes call my mentors or, my friends and family that do B.E.S.T, say, hey, can you go mode on me? Kind of having a crappy day, which try not to, try to do stuff myself, but sometimes you need that support, and that's what's great about having it. I know I try to support all my clients in any way that I can. Sometimes I can't. Sometimes they call me and they need a vent, and I'm sorry, but I'm in the middle of something with my kids, and I can't at this time. I'll try and call you back when I have a moment. All right, so the last mantra card we got was this peacock feather and some really horrible color contrast. The life purpose that leads to spiritual awakening. That was the last meditation we did. I think it was Friday. No, because I didn't do Fridays. I went to my son's school, so Thursday. So fun stuff. That's all I gotta say. I enjoy this, and it's even like with these cards and these meditations. Some of the times, it just works out. I don't. I wish I could say I planned this well, but sometimes it just works out really well, and I'm thankful and grateful for that. And then also, I'd like to even do a laughter yoga sometime on here. Maybe we can do the full hour. All right, and here is today's card. Kind of cool. Water droplets, rainbow. Kind of looks like. And then I don't know if you can. And it says, I am the playfulness of creation. All right. I like that. If I can get the booklet. I am the playfulness of creation. La hum. Bring out the inner child, the lightheartedness of youth back into life. Enliven the inner spark of creation and playfulness to express fully. Leela is the playfulness of life at the base of all creation. It instructs us that life is compelled by responsibility, laws, and determines life springs from play, light, freedom, and joy. Lilaham unites our consciousness with this energy. This mantra celebrates the playfulness, freedom, and joy inherent in life. True wisdom is always lighthearted and playful. Christian sculptor states, expect ye be converted and become as little children. Ye shall not enter into the kingdom of heaven. Christ knew the virtues, qualities of a child, and at the core of these virtues, his imagination, playfulness, creativity, and innocent faith in life. Greet each day with the love and gratitude, and allow the innocent playfulness and beauty within to shine bright, and give space for your inner child to come out and play. Awesome. That just, to me, that totally sounds like laughter yoga. Childlike playfulness. Connecting back to your childness, your innocence, creativity, your playfulness, faith in life even. That's something that I know I've seen with kids, to where it's, some kids have no fear of people or strangers because not part of it, they were taught that, but because they have a sense of life that, and I don't want to say that everything is going to be good or grand, but they have a certain optimism, which I definitely try to be an optimistic myself. Optimismist. I don't know. I definitely try to look at it, and I know I've talked a little bit about some Stoic philosophy. I'm definitely a big fan of it. Um, and in some Stoic philosophy, they talk about, the glass being half full or half empty. Uh, that's all. That's all good, I guess. But to me, it's even cooler the fact that I have a glass that I. Some people say, "Oh, people forget that the glass is refillable." Yes, that's true. But the fact that I have a glass is just awesome to me. Like, I don't know how else to explain that. I have an idea. Maybe I can get this going with some glasses, and we can maybe talk about this more. I don't know. I just think it's awesome. So we'll get into this. Leela hum, Leela hum, hum, Leela hum. So we'll go ahead and chant that for a few minutes. All right. Have we gone? Leela hum is what we're chanting. And it's I am the playfulness of creation. Leela hum. That feels good. It's interesting. I feel the energy actually back here on the back, like kind of where a little bit above where I guess my brain stem, where my neck and my skull connect, but just back here on my skull, like feels like it lit up like a Christmas tree almost. It just started tingling, like Leela hum. I am the playfulness. I am the playfulness of creation. You got to think creation, in creating, the playfulness of creation, to me, and again, this is just my personal opinion of the way that my brain works, I think, is this is amazing. Like, the playfulness of creation. Now, when you're creating, anything to some extent, there's got to be a certain amount of playfulness. I know for myself, as a graphic designer for design work, I'm going to probably draw up, 50 little thumbnails before I decide which one I really like, but I'm going to play with it. I'm going to design 50 of them. And it's funny because sometimes I look around at the world and I think, God, if you will, or, creation, however, even if it's completely randomized, evolution, and however you think things came about, there was some playfulness creation there. I remember I was reading about the platypus duck, and it's got the beak and then the tail of a beaver. And when they first shot one and stuffed it and brought it back to England or Europe, the civilized world as they knew back then, or as it's said in the story that I was reading, they thought that a taxidermist was having a joke with them. They thought that they, took the beak of a duck and these different creature parts and kind of slapped it all together into this one creature and trying to fool people. And they were, no, it's real. I even heard one where the narwhals, it's the whales, sea creatures with the horns that come out. People would kill them and sell their horn as a unicorn horn to unsuspecting people. I mean, now we all know what narwhals are, and I think it'd be a little bit harder to pass that off. But 100 years ago, when there wasn't the pictures and the TV and all that stuff that we know now, it probably would have been a little easier. But it's still, like, even narwhals, you look at those and you think somebody had fun creating them, or however that came about. I don't know. That's just how, I guess, maybe me. Maybe I have that spark of wonder, where it's just the playfulness of creation. And creating, there's a certain amount of playfulness and happiness, I guess, with that. Maybe not happiness, because I know there's some amount of frustration that comes with creation too. Like I said, as a graphic artist, I've had to create 50 of the same things, just one, to get it out there. And that's interesting too, because there's certain rules. One of them's get the garbage out. Even if it's a bad idea, just get it out there. Just draw it up, sketch it up, whatever, and then that way you can see, oh, this is a bad idea, and move on. Not saying that the world was created that way. Who knows? Hopefully they did a couple variations and kept just the best of all. But maybe it is evolution and just randomly. I don't know. And if that's what you believe, I'm not knocking it. Just asking maybe that you have an open mind enough to entertain my beliefs for a little bit, for a moment during this conversation, I guess. And I will try to have the same due respect to entertain your beliefs with an open mind and thought. And maybe that's something that we'll talk about tomorrow, is being there, or entertaining other people's ideas with an open mind. So this is all the time I do have today. Thank you again for being here. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you all tomorrow. Thanks again.